Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I believe, and many of us do, that we are on the cusp of a constitutional crisis, an historic moment. The Justice Department is currently defending the Trump administration in a number of lawsuits challenging executive actions taken by the president and officials of his administration. Federal judges, both Republicans and Democrat appointees, have enjoined some of these actions, holding that they are illegal or unconstitutional. Alarmingly, President Trump and his allies, even some nominees before this committee, have responded by questioning whether the executive branch must follow court orders. If confirmed, you will hold key positions in the executive branch and you will take an oath to uphold and defend the Constitution. So my question I ask of each of you is this: if, after exhausting all rights of appeal, do you believe a litigant, including officials in the executive branch, can lawfully defy a court order? Mr. Woodward.
Thank you. Thank you for the question. I do take issue with the premise of the question insofar as district court judges are not holding that President Trump's orders are illegal or unconstitutional. The only ask of district court judges at that time is whether there is a likelihood of success on the merits.
If you would stick to my hypothetical, it is an approach that is very clear. I don't want to argue a different issue. I'd like to argue this issue.
To your question, Senator, the president has made clear that he will follow any order of the Supreme Court.
Do you believe that officials in the executive branch can lawfully defy a court order? Yes or no?
Senator, the president has been very clear that he will follow any order of the Supreme Court.
No response. Mr. Squires?
Thank you, Senator. In my world, which is generally governed by Section 8, Clause 8, Section 1, Article 1, Section 8, Clause 8, excuse me, the Patent Office is an ex parte body, and generally there are appeals from executive actions taken by the director, and there is a lone court of appeals, unlike the circuit system, for the Federal Circuit, and then up to the Supreme Court. So patent issues tend to be adjudicated for issues that are in dispute up to the Supreme Court, and obviously the Supreme Court precedent governs, and that would be followed.
So you believe a litigant, including officials of the executive branch, must follow a court order, cannot lawfully defy a court order?
Thank you, Senator. I believe that the Supreme Court orders will be followed by executive branch, yes.
Mr. Geiser.
Thank you very much, Ranking Member Durbin. The President has been very clear. He will follow all court orders of the Supreme Court.
Do you believe that any executive official can lawfully defy a court order?
No.
Mr. Edlow?
Thank you, Senator. If confirmed, I will always follow advice of counsel when addressing these matters and how to handle such cases as you've raised them.
So can an executive official lawfully defy a court order?
I would defer to counsel as that. I'm not here in an attorney's role right now. I'm here as a director, or as the nominee for director.
I don't believe you need a law degree to answer this question. Can an executive official lawfully defy a court order?
Again, given the speculative nature of the question, my answer remains the same. I will always file advice of counsel.
No response. This is what troubles me greatly. If we cannot agree on this as the basic premise of our rule of law, where in the world are we headed as a nation? It should be a clear answer: lawfully defy a court order? No. Senator Kennedy said as much when he came back to this committee after a hearing in which I asked the question, and the present Solicitor General equivocated on the answer. There should be no equivocation by Democrat or Republican, in or out of power, and yet you hear what I run into, the evasion that I face. Mr. Squires, have you ever engaged in dishonest and dangerous activity at a law firm?
No, Senator.
Do you know what's happened to your former firm, Perkins Coie?
Yes, Senator, I have seen the executive order.
Did you read the president, or at least the administration's position on your former law firm? The executive order claimed that the firm, quote, dishonest and dangerous activity has affected this country for decades. The order further alleged that the firm is, quote, undermining democratic elections, the integrity of our courts, and honest law enforcement. Did you see any evidence of that activity when you were a member of this firm?
Thank you for the question, Senator. My role at Perkins Coie was to establish the first New York Patent Office presence. I dealt only with patent issues and intellectual property issues, and I had really no line of sight into any of the practice areas.
So you saw no evidence? I want to complete the question. Did you see any evidence of this wrongdoing that the president alleges in his executive order?
Sir, in my areas of responsibility, I saw no wrongdoing with respects to intellectual property.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.